What up? What up, though? It's time for Monday Morning Minute Ministries again. So I got my serious shirt on. So it's time for a serious topic. What are you eating? We live in a world where we are constantly obsessed with what we intake into our bodies. You can look at the eggs at a grocery store and know this. Just look at them. You got free range, white, brown, organic, antibiotic, free, grain fed. In the same way, we live in a world where we're always being spiritually force fed a meal. It's a designed and orchestrated spiritual meal. Just turn on the news or go on social media and there's always something right there that could alter or change your mood. But we eat it anyways. Even us, if we're devout in our faith, we eat it. And we get angry and we take up the gauntlet for almost anything that'll make us rise emotionally. But did God really ask us to take up that gauntlet? You know, God said, be angry and sin not. Pray for those that would persecute you. Bless those that curse you. I looked real hard to find a scripture that said, do whatever you want emotionally to that person, or go ahead and get your revenge. And I couldn't find a single scripture. I did find one of my favorites, though, which is revenge and vengeance is God's. You know, I found that, but nothing that said I should do what I feel. Dang. So that last line, it said, bless those that curse you, that I wrote. And I wanted to take a little time to talk about a curse, because I think a lot of the things that we go through, that we eat, are part of a spiritual curse that we already have. And a spiritual curse could be your attitude, could be hatred, bitterness, revenge, sexual sin, lust, alcoholism, drug addiction, any of these things. Even scientists acknowledge that if someone in your family drank or did drugs, that means that you have a better chance of drinking and doing drugs and becoming an alcoholic. In the same way, I think that we all have a spiritual draw towards the same sins as our families and friends. That's why I always say, be careful who your friends are. And it's also the very reason that I'm very skeptical about the media's portrayal of things, and I choose to do research about what I read and choose to believe, especially if it moves me or something in me emotionally that I know is not biblically based. And I try to do the same thing for others. Even if they don't believe in God, I found that for most people, they will actually seek out things that are already spiritually ingrained in them. And it already feeds something in them that's really negative, and sometimes takes them to an aggressive place where no one can tell them anything for whatever reason they deem exceptional. My favorite one, and the one I get the most, is, you don't understand, you'll never know what it's like. You'll never know what it's like to be me. That may be true, but for me that's hard to believe, because we live in a world with 7.6 billion people. And it's honestly hard to believe that no one has had the same or a similar situation or similar experience as you. You know, I grew up rough for most people I know. I grew up, my mom worked nonstop. My dad was an alcoholic and was addicted to cocaine and other things. And it was really hard, because there would be 4 and 5 day periods where, like, I literally wouldn't see my mom or dad. And I would say from the time I was like 11 to 17, I literally ate wherever I could, and I had a good group of friends, and I thank God for them, looking back at them, that they took care of me. Like, literally, I would eat at someone else's house 4 to 5 days a week, and they took me in and they did that. And not only that, but they took me in when my father kicked me out when we would get in fights. And, you know, my dad would fist fight us, he'd downgrade us, or degrade us is what I meant to say. But I always had those people there for me to lean on, and I look at it, and those people basically saved my life, even when I wasn't walking with God. God placed people in my life to hold me up when I was falling, and I thank God for that. And even though I went through all that, you know, my brother being buried on my 9th birthday, someone very close to me getting shot when I got shot when I was 18, and they died. Even with all that, I still knew people with way worse situations, with better outlooks than I had. You know, I know people who didn't have fathers, whose mom was addicted to drugs and was there but wasn't really there. People who basically lived in squalor. And I thank God that God placed people in my life with good perspectives, even though they were in bad situations. And I think a lot of what we go through in life is our perspective on it. And I know this is kind of long, for something that's supposed to be Monday Morning Minute Ministries, so I hope you guys actually watch it. So I say all that and talk about all this stuff that you're eating. Don't let things lead you emotionally and spiritually, the things that you're eating. But I said all that to say this because I know that people will look at other people and judge them. So I wanted to say, don't look at someone who's eating filet mignon and think that that's always where they've been. Just because they're eating filet mignon doesn't mean they've never eaten humble pie. So be careful who you try to make eat crow. I'm out. Monday Morning Minute Ministries. I love you guys.